911, where's your emergency?
This woman hit me with her car and fled the scene, and me and two other people chased her down.
I'm being followed by 3 men to my home. I told them to leave me alone, and they won't stop following me. They're following me to my house right now, actually. You are 3 men who followed me to my house!
What's that?
In today's fast-paced world, our roads have evolved from mere routes to our destinations into battlegrounds where tempers frequently flare and control can easily slip away. Each year, millions of car accidents happen across the United States. In 2023 alone, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration reported over 6 million crashes. While many of these incidents lead to only minor injuries or property damage, a significant portion are fueled by road rage, a dangerous behavior that can quickly escalate even the most ordinary drive into a deadly encounter. Road rage incidents are increasingly common, with recent studies showing that nearly 80% of drivers in the U.S. have encountered aggressive driving behavior. But what happens when a simple gesture or a heated exchange spirals out of control? When frustration behind the wheel escalates into violence, the outcomes can be tragic and irreversible. In the most extreme cases, road rage leads to the unthinkable: lives lost, families shattered, and communities left struggling to make sense of the devastation. In today's video, we take a look at a case where road rage turned fatal, exploring how ordinary people became embroiled in a confrontation that ended in an unfortunate and tragic death. On November 20th, 2021, in Orange City, Florida, at around 5 p.m., 40-year-old Andrew Durr decided to go on a motorcycle ride. He was riding along North Volusia Avenue, where 35-year-old library assistant Sarah Morales was also driving on her way home from work. Andrew attempted to pass Sarah, but according to witness statements, Sarah reacted by swerving her vehicle into Andrew's lane, forcing him to swerve out of the way to avoid a collision. The situation quickly turned hostile. Witnesses reported that Andrew became visibly aggressive, shouting and gesturing angrily as he rode alongside Sarah's car. The confrontation escalated further when Sarah, apparently in a fit of anger, swerved her car toward Andrew's motorcycle, striking its saddlebag and nearly causing him to crash. In response, Andrew kicked Sarah's car, an act that only heightened the tension. He and 2 other men who witnessed the incident and were also on motorcycles managed to get Sarah stopped in a turn lane. Andrew then called the police to report the incident.
911, where's your emergency?
This woman hit me with her car and fled the scene, and me and 2 other people chased her down.
The men told Sarah to stay where she was because the police were on the way. However, Sarah refused to wait and drove off, further infuriating Andrew. One of the witnesses also called 911 to report the incident.
Is the motorcyclist down on the ground? Is he breathing and conscious?
He's fine.
Okay.
The lady just took off the left.
Andrew and the 2 other men decided to follow Sarah. While they were pursuing her, she called 911 to inform them that she was being followed.
I'm being followed by 3 men to my home. I told them to leave me alone, and they won't stop following me. They're following me to my house right now, actually.
Sarah eventually arrived at her house on East Wisconsin Avenue and went inside. Andrew, along with the 2 witnesses, waited outside Sarah's house for the police to arrive. While inside, Sarah informed her mother and fiancé of what was happening. She then took her fiancé's firearm and went outside to confront the men. She sounded angry, and according to the witnesses, she pointed her gun at Andrew from about 15 feet away, unaware that he also had a gun. One of the 2 witnesses who was waiting outside with Andrew just happened to be on a call with 911 when Sarah came outside to confront them.
You are 3 men who followed me to my house!
What's that?
Oh, damn lady, now,
You have to pull the gun on me! You can see that!
I can read this.
Did somebody get shot?
Yes, ma'am. Lady shot, dude pulled a gun out on her. He shot her in the face, self-defense.
Who shot the lady, sir?
Hey! Boss man, come here. The dude that got hit on the bike. The dude on the bike shot her.
Is she breathing, sir?
Hey, is she breathing? No.
Okay.
She's still breathing. Yeah, she's still breathing.
A total of 8 shots were fired at Sarah, with 3 bullets striking her in the stomach and chest. Sarah's mother immediately called 911.
She's been shot. My daughter's been shot.
Who shot her?
One of the motorcycle drivers. She's pregnant. Dear God, she's pregnant.
Sarah's 11-year-old daughter, Gianna, was also at home during the shooting and also called 911.
I heard my mom screaming, and one of the dudes pulled a gun, and I'm just really scared.
The police arrived at the scene shortly after and arrested Andrew.
Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Don't move! Do not move! Do not move! Stay right where you are, okay? I'm not gonna shoot you, just keep listening to what I'm telling you, okay? What's your first name?
Andrew.
Okay.
That girl tried to kill me. She pointed a gun at
Okay.
me.
All right. Just relax.
It's a gun to the left.
Tried to kill me.
Relax. This officer's gonna come around.
I'm so sorry.
Relax.
I'm not moving. I'm not
Okay.
moving.
You're good.
Please. I'm not moving. I'm so sorry. She tried to kill me, and those other people are armed too. They had guns too.
Give me another cuff.
Please be easy, gentlemen. I didn't do anything wrong to defend myself.
Sarah lost a significant amount of blood and later died at the hospital. Andrew Durr later told police, "She came toward us, and when she was about 15 feet away, she raised a gun at me. It was pointed at me. I was scared to death and immediately drew my firearm and defended myself." The 2 men who had accompanied Andrew confirmed his account, stating that Sarah had indeed waved her gun at the 3 men before Andrew pulled out his gun and began shooting her. One of the witnesses, Nicholas Hurst, described how Sarah exited her house with a gun and waved it at them. "I stepped back, said, 'Calm down,' and before I knew it, the male motorcyclist drew his gun and shot the female what sounded like 5 times, Hurst reported to the police. The other witness, Cody Drew, provided a similar account, stating that Sarah had confronted the men with a firearm. Cody described how Andrew responded by drawing his pistol and emptying his clip into Sarah. In the aftermath of the shooting, Sarah's mother, Doreen Flaherty, explained why she believes her daughter went outside with a firearm to confront the men.
She's yelling at them to go away, leave her alone. She was probably thinking, if they see I have a gun, they're going to back off.
Although this might explain why Sarah confronted the men with a gun, and even though she likely had no intention of shooting Andrew, we must also consider the situation from his perspective. She had already intentionally struck him with her car, an act that could have been fatal, and then, instead of stopping and waiting for the police, she drove away. Later, while Andrew was waiting outside her home for the police to arrive so he could report the incident, Sarah came outside, shouting angrily, and then pointed a gun at him. Given the circumstances, it doesn't seem entirely unreasonable for him to believe that she might shoot him. In a moment of fear and self-preservation, he decided to shoot her first. If someone points a gun at you, there's always a possibility that you could be shot. In such a scenario, the law often recognizes shooting that person as an act of self-defense. So, even if Sarah had no intention of shooting Andrew, which I believe she didn't, he can't be entirely blamed for assuming that she might have shot him because she did point her gun at him. It's a devastating tragedy that should never have escalated to this point. But in cases like these, it's common for the family members of the person who died to place all the blame on the individual who shot their loved one, regardless of the circumstances. However, Andrew Durr was not charged for shooting Sarah Morales. Assistant State Attorney Brian Shorstein, speaking on behalf of 7th Circuit State Attorney R.J. Larissa, explained the decision not to charge Durr. In an email, Shorstein stated, "The State Attorney's Office has completed a comprehensive review of this case. The Orange City Police Department concluded after a thorough investigation that the suspect would not be charged with a crime. While the facts in this case are truly heartbreaking, the law does not authorize the filing of any criminal charges. Our sincerest thoughts and prayers go out to the Morales family." Sarah's mother, Doreen Flaherty, expressed deep anger over the prosecutor's decision not to charge Andrew Durr, stating, "If he had not followed her in the first place, there would have been no need for him to feel the need to defend himself." But the situation is not that simple. Andrew didn't follow Sarah home with the intention of killing her. He followed her because she refused to wait for the police and drove away. When he arrived at her house, he did not go inside to confront her. He waited outside for the police to arrive. It was Sarah who chose to come outside with a gun and pointed at him, a decision that cannot be blamed on Andrew. This is not to say that Sarah deserved to die because of her actions, but it's unfair and unreasonable to claim that Andrew is solely responsible for Sarah's death. While it is true that he could have taken down her license plate number and given it to the police instead of following her home, his intention was not to kill her, and he couldn't have known that she would confront him with a gun. Andrew and Sarah both made choices that day that led to the worst possible outcome. However, I don't believe either of them intended to kill the other. So instead of placing all the blame on Andrew or Sarah, we should view this as a series of bad and unfortunate decisions by both of them that culminated in a devastating tragedy. As we conclude this devastating case, we're reminded of how quickly a moment of anger and frustration on the road can escalate into irreversible tragedy. This story goes beyond the individuals involved. It serves as a cautionary tale about just how fragile life is and the devastating consequences that can stem from a single, heated exchange. Road rage incidents are all too common, and while most end with nothing more than harsh words, some result in lives lost and families torn apart. In the aftermath, survivors and loved ones are left to carry the heavy burden of loss, haunted by questions of what could have been done differently and the painful reality that nothing can turn back time. In the heat of the moment, it's easy to forget that behind every steering wheel is a person with a story, a family, and a future. We must remember that the road is a shared space, where patience, understanding, and a moment of calm can truly mean the difference between life and death. So in the face of conflict on the roads, choose de-escalation, choose safety, and above all, choose life.